This is how long ago was this picture taken?
The one of Jane?
Yeah.
This is last year.
Oh gosh. That is Jane Hanks. So she would have been at least 100.
That was on her 100th birthday. Her town really celebrated. That's her son.
That's her son. That's her son. That's her son. Now, Jane maintained a relationship with the people from Siksika in that community. And her name is a beautiful name, Yisomat. Yisomat. And the story was given to her, or the name was given to her from one of the elders at Siksika, a woman. And the story was they were picking berries, these women. And next thing, and I'll edit this now, the crow warriors came upon them. And they spotted them ahead of time. And this woman told, go notify the camp, the main camp. I will distract them or you can help. And she did. And that gave them enough time. That's a true story. It's a name that gives Jane the honor based on this coup of this woman. That was how she was regarded. And moreover, they kept going back to Siksika and her son. One of the reasons that she went back was that so that her son can get a Blackfoot name. He teaches now at MIT, and we hope to visit with him so that we can complete. We want to interview her. But one of the things that Jane says that, you know, she was critical of Maslow. But he also acknowledges how observant he was. He was very observant. And after he put his questionnaire aside, he started doing other things. I'll let you do this. You do it better than I do.
The point with the names too, his name, Naviga, that was the name he was given, and it means, you know, a person from downriver, basically, from the southeast. That's, you know, the difference in regard that between the stories of Jane's name and Maslow's name. In his writings, he says, I believe it means the chief of the northern peoples. Way off. So what did he do with this experience? Well, when he came home that fall, his wife had just had their first baby daughter, and they were living in an apartment complex in Brooklyn. And he went door to door in his apartment complex, talking to his neighbors, and he said, you know, I've just seen something. I just, you know, I visited this other community. I've seen the way that they are with their children, and I want to see if we can do it, because they turn out really, you know, healthy. He said, I'd like to see, you know, who would be interested in kind of collectively raising our children, where our doors will be open to our apartments. Your kids can come to my apartment and raid my fridge and sleep over if they want, and, you know, if mine could do the same, and I'll still treat them like they're my own, okay? And so he tried to convince his neighbors, let's do this experiment, and they didn't all buy into it. It didn't work out. He gave up on it pretty quick after the first swing at it. The next thing he did was he was going into the fall semester that September, and he started a new class in his psychology department. That class was normative human psychology. That was the very first time ever that there had been a class in any university on normative human psychology. And obviously, he thought he had seen a model that summer that he could start teaching this kind of a course. While he was doing the course, and that, for a few years thereafter, he started keeping notebooks. He called these the good human being notebooks. And in those notebooks, this was his intuitive. He had changed. He had been doing stats and questionnaires and all of his surveys and stuff. Suddenly he's keeping notebooks and journals. And he's trying to figure out, what is it about that 80% of people at Siksika, and what do they have in common with the ones that I would consider in the top 5% of Western society? The same kind of psychology where you can feel really self-secure, but not have to be competitive and aggressive and all of this. What is it that they have in common in their lives? And so he started doing biographical research, looking into those people in Western society, whether they be historical figures or there was a few current people that he knew, Ruth Benedict being one that he thought had reached this stage. And what did their lives have in common? And this is what the Good Human Being notebooks were about. These Good Human Being notebooks led into this publication of his theory on developmental needs, which would become the hierarchy of needs, and his coining of this idea of self-actualization. And we had heard that this came from the teepee designs. That's how this story began with us. Is this the case? Well, I told you what they did when they were in the Sundance in terms of paying attention to those teepee designs. If somebody were to look at these designs, all of the symbols on these teepees have multiple layers of meaning to them. In one sense, you could look at this teepee design, and you could look at these the mountains here, and these white kakatotsi, stars. Kakatotsi is star in Blackfoot, but it's also the name for the puffball mushrooms. And those mushrooms used to be used as punks. If you're moving from one camp to another and you want to carry fire with you, you can take a piece of those mushrooms and get it burning, put it in a horn or other in a way that you can carry that so it smolder to the next camp. And when you get there, you can start fire right back up in your lodge once you're up. This is one level of significance, and it's certainly not the only one. But this is might be perceived as something like a base need. Obviously, in the middle, well, maybe or maybe not obviously, but these are the animals that transfer the teepee to begin with, the human beings. And that line of transfer comes through human beings. You say we're holding hands all the way back to that first transfer. Because it's done to you physically when you get a transfer. Your hand is held. You're shown how to do the things of that life. And so there's a very social element in the middle there, just as there is in Maslow's hierarchy, the social needs of Maslow. And then up here, Narcissus, when we were going through the slides on our Atsumo Iskana prayer, these were some of the beings he mentioned: schizogonics, myochbokliks, bisoaks, all of these spiritual, cosmological beings influence our lives.